So if you don't know, beauty salons are such a staple in Black communities, giving women not only a space to get beautiful and get their hair done, but also for self-care and socializing. And now there's a new show at the Chicago Shakespeare Theater, and it's bringing that salon experience to the stage. And my goodness, it looks so vibrant here. Jaja's African hair braiding takes place in a bustling Harlem hair braiding salon and takes the audience through kind of what it would be like in the day of a shop's West African immigrant braiders and their clients and their experiences. This is so cool. It's a Tony Award-winning play that just made its Chicago debut this week, and we have a treat because joining us now are two members of the show. We have Nikiya Mathis, the show's hair and wig designer.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us.
Happy to be here.
And we also have Aisha Sougou, and you are a cast member of the play,
yes,
correct?
I am.
And who are you playing in the show?
I play Ndidi.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, let's start with you then.
Yes. Sure.
What's the focus of the show, the meaning behind it?
I think it's just a representation of how these 5 braiders in the shop just come in, and it's a day in the life of who they are and what they represent and some of their different personalities and how they could clash with each other, how they relate to each other. And I think it's such a funny show for them to see and how they can relate to some of the hair or the hairstyles that are also in the show. And then my character, Ndidi, she is this spitfire, beautiful woman with these bubble braids, and she just doesn't care about what anyone thinks about her. She loves her acting, her music, her dancing, and it's just such a musical of fun to be a part of.
Yes. And you were talking about the hair and the characters, and Nikiya, you designed, you were all about, and you actually won a Tony Award.
I did!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what did you win it for specifically, and can you just expound on why that's so important in the space?
Absolutely. You know, first of all, crazy enough, I'll talk a little bit about, you know, when I started on the journey of Jaja's, I was so excited that Whitney, our director, and Jocelyn, our writer, invited me because I was like, you know, if there is any show ever in the world, you know, that I could do, it would be, you know, a show about Black women celebrating their hair, particularly with the remnants of slavery still in this country, you know, us being othered, as we talked about earlier, you know, being too dark sometimes, our hair being too kinky, and we get to celebrate it on the great white way, right? Which, you know, historically hasn't centered us. I'll say the other thing is that there is no Tony Award for wig design. People are actually like surprised by that. There's costume design, set design, and other things, but there is no Tony Award. So when I started the journey, in my mind, I was like, I'm so grateful to Jocelyn for writing this play about me and about our beauty, particularly when we see Black women historically on stage, and we've looked at their hair and wigs and been like, that's not exactly what it should be, or even sometimes in TV and film. So it was just important for me to paint us beautifully in ways that I hadn't seen us. And I didn't think that en masse people would appreciate it. I thought Black women would come and say, thank you. But then when other people started appreciating it, it just showed the importance. Like when you finally paint us beautifully, people will see us. And to win a Tony Award for something that wasn't a Tony Award, like, you know, I just
so
like,
special.
it's so special. And that is for us, and that's what makes me so grateful.
And I think in this show they couldn't even ignore the hairstyle.
Exactly.
They couldn't ignore it.
And
Aisha.
I think something that's so special about the hair in and of itself is that everyone has such a diverse style. Like no style would repeat itself like in the show. And so many people have so many different hair colors as well. Like I have this beautiful 350 color like bubble braids, and someone has an afro with like these red tips at the end. We have like a whole tribal braid up with like beads in the front. Everything is just so colorful with the wigs. And that's, I like really appreciate seeing that on stage because that's something that like is very rare.
Well, first of all, I love how specific you are about noting all of those things.
The color.
What we also, what you may not know is Aisha actually is a braider. So like the other thing is when we started the process, we had braiding classes because the actors need need to look like professional braiders, but she outshined all of her other classmates. And you come from a family.
I do, yeah. My mom owns a hair braiding shop where I'm from, and so me and all of my sisters, that's kind of how we grew up, learning how to braid and getting customers in and out the door. So this play really hits very, very, very close to home, and it's so beautiful to see that full circle moment of actually being in a play and seeing my mom see me on stage. And
I can't imagine how she feels. My goodness. And as someone who grew up wearing Alicia Keys braids, I can definitely appreciate that. Before we go, I do want to ask both of you, what do you hope, because you mentioned audiences of all colors and types, what do you each hope that the audience members take away when they walk away from the show? Or maybe how do you hope they feel? And this is a quick one because I'm getting the rap in my ear.
No problem. I hope they feel seen. I hope they recognize that we all actually have shared experiences. You may go to a salon that, you know, has, you know, white or Latina stylists, but it still is the same kind of culture and bustling community environment.
I wish they could see the humanity in all of these people in the shop. Not only just seeing them pass by or to walk into a shop, but actually see a sense of where their life comes from and who they are. So yeah.
I'm excited. I grew up spending a lot of time in black hair salons. So I know that so many will relate to this and be able to learn from it. Nikiya, Aisha, thank you both.
Thank you.
Taking time to share more about this show. We appreciate you being here in studio with us.
Thank you so much.
We do want you to know that Jaja's African Hair Braiding, the show that we're just talking about, playing now through February 2nd in the Chicago Shakespeare Theater, and you can get tickets online at chicagoshakes.com.